Hi, it's Brendan Murphy here. Just reflecting on confidence and comparison and unhappiness. And the big takeaway I got was the idea that a lot of the time we're comparing ourselves to our competitors or to others or to people the same age or in our same social circle or people we know from earlier in life. And that can only, and this is the key part, can only lead to unhappiness and suffering. By comparing, you're not seeing the full story, you're only comparing a select part of the story. And as such, you sort of almost can pick their highlights and compare them with your struggles, and of course you'll feel unhappy or not good about it. So that's what I'm the big thing with comparison was. And with confidence from comparison is just, confidence is that self-belief that you are capable. So when you're going through a change or a period of growth, you have that self-belief that you are capable of doing it. Instead of looking at it as though, I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this, I don't know if I'm strong enough. Instead, rephrase it as, I am just strong enough to get this done. Okay, you don't have to be super strong or 10 times stronger or have 90% in reserve. You just have to, if it needs 68%, you just need to get 69%. You just need to be capable to get that through. I thought that was an amazing takeaway. The idea that we often I have previously undervalued or underestimated my own resilience and my own strength, and withdrawn or ended too early when it was just part of the process. And there are ups and downs, and you've just got to quietly grind on and realize you don't have to be super across 8 or 9 different domains. You just have to be 1% above the completion of what the task you're on, and then you'll complete it and you can move on to the next one. Because it's all, another key takeaway was the idea of a personal mythology. And I've been working a lot with archetypes, with life coaching, and that is what we do, is we build our own personal mythology around our own story. So it's the highlights we select, and sometimes, I know I have selected lowlights, and somehow they've managed to get into that montage of my personal philosophy, and it's not good, because I sort of, in a moment of reflection, I'll go back and replay that struggle or that failure or that time of hardship, when really my highlight reel should be highlights. So maybe it's time we can all go through and consciously edit our highlight reel, take out the things that maybe should not be there. If we were to look at it from the point of a PR agency or making a short for a movie, would that be in your highlight reel? Or is it an inadequacy or a failure or a vulnerability that you can share in the right circumstances, but it's not an upfront vulnerability you put out there straight away? Okay, so sometimes, in a staggered reveal, it's called, you reveal it slowly or on the third meeting or the third date. We know sort of first, second, third base with dating. It's similar to that with your vulnerabilities and your struggles and your fears. It's not, sometimes it's not amazing to reveal that too soon in the piece. Yeah, so it's really amazing to not, or to be conscious of your comparing. So when you see someone else, try not to label them. The idea was that there are 3 categories. Everyone in the world falls into 3 categories for me, for everyone. They are friends, enemies, and strangers. So right now, if I see you're a stranger, and depending on how you react or behave or interact or make me feel, I can put you into the friend or the enemy basket, which is sort of ridiculous. Because you should not be either a friend or an enemy just because you made me feel happy or sad or lonely or loved or depressed, or because they're my feelings and I control my own mind, and your actions you doing an act does not make my mind, does not make me feel loved. I make myself feel loved, okay? I experience the love in my mind. It's not an act that you do that it directly sort of comes into my mind and flips the button and goes, oh, you should feel low worthless or bad or good or joy. You just do acts. The other person does acts and I interpret them and give them meaning. So, and then somehow I categorize you as friend, enemy or stranger. So key takeaway as well is not to be judging people. People, even stranger might be a bit hard, might be a bit sort of hostile, aggressive. So just as people you haven't met yet, or that Irish sort of thing of friends you haven't met yet. So they're the key concepts of lessening on the comparison and realizing a lot of people have got different hidden struggles. Like the struggle people go through on a daily basis is largely people do an amazing job of hiding it and shielding it and not revealing it. And that's something we have to respect, that you can see them and they may be presenting this amazing, fit, healthy body, playing the guitar around the campfire, for example, but when you pull back one layer, they can be sort of going through a deep period of struggle and pain, and it mightn't be all that it looks. But if you to take that snapshot and compare that with your struggle reel, suddenly that person is, I don't know, better than you, or having more fun or more joyful, and you feel inadequate and worthless, and you can almost turn them into an enemy from that, or a friend. So again, it's lessening the comparison and we're all just delaying it to start with. It's delaying it as long as you can, to not make a comparison, to go, for example, what do you think of her? I don't know her well enough yet. It's a great response. So we've got the comparison, we're being mindful of comparisons. The second point was confidence is how you portray your capableness, your capability, your efficacy, your composure, your self-belief. Okay, so that's what people are seeing. It's not arrogance. It's not to be confused with arrogance. It's not to be, confidence isn't to be run away from in the fear that it may be arrogance. I've done that in the past, going, if I appear confident, people will misinterpret it as arrogant, because people will pull out the arrogant comparison as a way to undermine you and have you second guessing. So people call you arrogant, that's fine. You're just confident and composed and capable and believe in yourself and have high self-efficacy. The next step was not seeing others as threats or as competition through comparison. So even if you are painting red flowers and I am painting red flowers, it is still coloured by your experience and your feeling and your worldview, okay? And if anything, if we're both painting red flowers, that should be more impetus for me to colour it even more with my worldview, to even more niche it down, be more specific, be more targeted, and be more revealing of me as an artist. So they go, who painted that red flower? Who painted that red flower? Oh, I always know when he's painted a red flower because he conveys a certain sense of, or he does it in a certain style of. Okay, so competition ends as soon as you get specific, specify and specialise. So that's the word. Competition ends once you specialise, and specialising is simple as being yourself, because no one can be you. That's the most genuine expression and most authentic expression, is being yourself. So I just bring my eyes to horizon level, so then it goes dark. I do like it when they're at a level of the horizon or even above, so my thoughts are in the air. That looks like I'm sort of in the ground. Anyway, back to, so that are the key takeaways of where we're at right now. It's comparison, confidence, maybe the 3 C's, and strategic reveals of your weaknesses and vulnerabilities at the right time, not as a way in the past as well. Revealing vulnerabilities too early can be a really clumsy attempt to establish intimacy or friendship, or, oh, well, you know that about me, so we're sort of mates. But it isn't. It's just you clumsily expressing a vulnerability inappropriately early. All right, it's Brendan Murphy at The Life Coach. Thanks a lot.